All right, and well, officially, we are now streaming on YouTube Live. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome to the BBE Live. If you are a returning customer, because we've done this about 25, 26, 30, 57, I don't know, so many times. And if you're welcome, welcome regardless. My name is Thomas Allen. I'm coming to you live from my bathroom with a few towels hanging up to stop the reverb, hopefully. There were no good options for recording today, so this is what you got. But anyway, thanks so much for joining us, and I'd love it if my friends and colleagues would introduce themselves.
I'm Leighann and I'm speaking to you from Bloomington, Indiana. I'm one of the directors of the BBE, the resident flute player.
I am Brandi Berry Benson, yet another one of the directors of the BBE, not streaming from my bathroom. My bathroom would be huge if this, well, whatever. I'm streaming from another room in our place. And happy from Chicago, Illinois, and super excited to have guest Christa Patton with us. Excellent. She plays so many instruments, but harp and winds. All brilliant bagpiper as well. Brilliant harp player, faculty on Queens College and so many other colleges, Madison Early Music Festival, which is where we met. So we're super thrilled to have her on here. And spoiler alert, she's going to be on some of the tracks for our Carols event coming up next week too. So Christa, thanks for joining us today.
Oh, I couldn't be happier. Plus, I get to see two of my favorite people and meet a third one for the first time. It's very nice to meet you, Leighann.
Yeah. You may not feel that way after she does her trivia.
Oh, no.
Not Christmas carols.
What could go wrong? Yeah.
Great. All right, cool. Well, let's kick it off. We've told Christa how this works, and if you've joined us before, you know how it works too. So let's go ahead and kick it off.
Nottingham ale, boys, Nottingham ale. No liquor on earth is like Nottingham ale. Nottingham ale, boys, Nottingham ale. No liquor on earth is like Nottingham ale.
And as we do every week, Leighann kicks it off.
All right. So the first game is The Secret Lives of Composers, but this is Christmas Carols edition. So it's all based on Christmas carols. So the way it works is I'll give you a little history, a little background, and then there'll be 4 multiple choice composer names, and you get to decide who the correct composer is. And there'll be a little thinking music, kind of like Jeopardy, so you have time to think. So let's get started. All right. The popular Christmas carol, We Three Kings of Orient Are, was written in 1857 under the name Kings of Orient, telling the story of the journey the wise men took to visit the Christ child in Bethlehem. This carol quickly gained popularity around the world. The composer of this carol wrote this as a Christmas gift for his nieces and nephews while he was in New York serving, among other things, as an instructor of church music for the General Theological Seminary there. Not only a composer, he was an artist in both watercolor and oils, a lawyer, an ironmonger, a musician, a theologian, and an architect who introduced Gothic architecture into the United States. He was the first bishop of the Episcopal Diocese of Vermont, as well as the 8th preceding bishop of the Episcopal Church of the United States. Was this composer John Henry Hopkins, John Stainer, Martin Shaw, or William Kirkpatrick? But first, a little thinking music. Christa, since you're our guest, so first, do you have any ideas?
And any ideas of who this might be?
Yeah,
Well,
I didn't know this.
I mean, Stainer was one. If he's the one that I'm thinking of, he's one of the the Bay Psalm book guys, the earlier carol writers. But this guy sounds like he would be a little later, and for some reason, I just want to say William Kirkpatrick.
All right. Brandi, Thomas.
I was gonna go with A or D, but since Kristen went with D, I'll go with A. So maybe that'll help. Somebody will get it right.
Brandi.
I don't know. Yeah.
I know we've played it a million times, but we don't actually know who wrote it, right?
Right.
Because they always say traditional.
Right. I know.
Got me. I'm gonna just go with A, just out of hope, out of sheer hope, but not based on any actual.
Well, so A is the correct answer, but all four of these composers wrote Christmas carols. So I was a little tricky, but
John Henry Hopkins.
yeah, I didn't know that. I had to research that because
Gothic architecture that's amazing.
Yeah.
I know he just did everything.
That was funny when you said, do you have any thoughts, Krista? And I was like, the first one I had was like, wow, he sounds like every musician in the middle of COVID trying to figure out how to bring money in.
Right.
You know. All right. Well, let's move on to question number 2. So, jingle bells or COVID smells. Another well-known and well-loved Christmas carol was first published in Boston in 1857 under the title One Horse Open Sleigh. However, it wasn't actually intended to be a Christmas song. The lyrics might have been a little too risque for Christian audiences. The lesser-known verses of the song describe picking up girls, drag racing on snow, and a high-speed crash. The lyrics, "Go it while you're young," found in the final verse, probably don't refer to a holy or a silent night. The composer of this song was a bit of a rebel and not much of a family man. At the age of 14, he ran off from boarding school, joined the crew of a whaling ship, and spent nearly a decade at sea. When the California gold rush struck in 1849, he left his wife and children behind in Massachusetts while he chased riches in the West. Then, in support of the Confederacy, he enlisted with the 1st Georgia Cavalry and served as a company clerk. And during the war, he wrote several Confederate anthems, such as "Strike for the South," "We Conquer or Die," and "Our Battle Flag." Was this composer James L. Pierpont, Lowell Mason, Scott Joplin, or George Templeton Strong? But a little thinking music. Do you have any ideas, Krista? I see you looking for a book. Maybe
That book. That Christmas Sing We All, no, it's not Sing We All Merrily. Carols We Love to Sing or something like that I grew up sitting at my piano and playing. That was, by the way, my gateway drug into early music. That was like the only place I could find, early music was in this little carol book. But I did not memorize all the composers. I don't know. I just want to say A for some reason. Lowell Mason was like a shape note guy, wasn't he? Or something like that. And Scott Joplin, no, I don't think so. And I don't know who George Templeton Strong is, but he's got a great name. GTS. Not GPS, GTS.
Great.
Yeah, so I go with A. I don't know.
All right.
I should know this.
Any other guesses from Thomas or Brandi?
I'm sticking with Krista on this one. Let's go with A.
All right, great. Brandi, any ideas?
Much like Krista trying to search through a book, Brandy's
She's
like reaching
Googling.
into her. She's Googling.
It's not based on anything, okay? I just know for sure it can't be like the one guy that I kind of know, like that I know the most. I know for sure it's not him. Or not Joplin.
Correct.
Or not Mason. And I'm just gonna. I mean, you mentioned something about anthems. So I'm like really I'll just go D just to cover our bases.
All right. Well, the answer is A. James Pierpont. Yay!
Yes.
All Good job.
I usually
Alright.
get 100% things wrong, so I'm already doing like 100% better than I usually do.
Great. All right. So this last question, I'm going to totally butcher all the composers. I'm just going to warn you when we get there.
Okay, I'll look forward to that.
I'll make it extra great for you. So maybe not one of the most popular Christmas songs in the U.S. The Huron Carol, also known as "Was in the Moon of Wintertime" or "Jesus, He is Born," is Canada's oldest Christmas carol. Most likely written in 1642, this carol's melody is based on a French traditional song, "A Young Maid," and was written to introduce the Wendat or Wendat people to Christianity. The composer of the song was a French Jesuit missionary who traveled to New France in 1625. He worked primarily with the Wendat people for the remainder of his life. He learned their language and culture, writing extensively about each to aid other missionaries. Was this composer Jacques de Goy, Samuel Sheet, Jean de Brébeuf, I don't know, Antoine Bousset? But a little thinking music. Christa, any ideas?
Oh my God! Well, it can't be Samuel Scheidt. I really don't think it's him, because he's a German composer that we love.
True.
We love him for other reasons than bringing the native people into Christianity. Thank God. And I really don't know who these other people are. I'm ashamed to say. I like Jean de Brébeuf because I just want to shorten his name into Jean de Boeuf. He doesn't deserve that, but that's where my brain goes with this.
Well, we don't know that he doesn't deserve that. He may very well.
Oh, it's true. Well, he probably does if he thought that the Indians should become Christians. But so yes, I'm just gonna go with him because I like his name. It makes me think of Buff.
That was precisely what my thinking was. I was like, it's either gonna be A or C, but he has an accent in his name and it just sounds cooler, so I'm gonna go with C.
All right.
I'm going with C because I think, Leighann, you accidentally bolded it in the email that you sent me, so I'm not sure if that was an accident or if that was the giveaway that it was true. But I'm also going with C.
You are all correct. Yes, that was a mistake.
Oh, that's so funny.
I just like I bolded it. I cut and paste for my stuff.
Yeah, because Christa, I never know what the answers are to Leighann's or Brandi's, but this one it actually came up with a bold, and I was like, I don't think she meant to do that, so I'm going to set this one out.
Well, good job. You had a few right, Christa. That's great.
Yeah, doing good. All right, you can keep that doctorate, Christa.
And Leighann, I have learned so much in the last, on our last questions.
Excellent. All right, well, it's my turn, and I guess I don't have much to seek revenge for today since I got all of them right. But in other days, I would be seeking revenge because usually it's a bunch of instrumental stuff I have no idea, and that's why my segment is always called Thomas's Revenge with Cat Doppelgängers. And so how this particular game works is on the next page, you will see 3 composers on the left side, and we will hear a mystery tune. It might be 30 seconds, or in the case of the first one, it's closer to a minute because there wasn't a really good starting or stopping place. And then we're going to take a strong guess as to which composer it was. After we've, racked our brains back to our music listening courses in college, we will reveal who the composer was, the piece, the album it came from, and then I will share with you my cat doppelganger, which is somehow loosely related to anything that we just discussed. So, with that one, here's your first 3 composers. This one actually is going to be an instrumental piece, not a vocal piece. I like contemporary music as much as like early music, and of course you have Schoenberg, Wagner, and Webern. You can only imagine how this one might go, but it might surprise you. So with that, here is your mystery tune, and bonus points if you know the tune that he's using. All right. It just goes on forever and ever. So, any thoughts, Christa or Brandi or Leighann? Who could this possibly be? And do you know the tune?
I know the tune, but I need to think on the composer.
Well, I know Webern. Is it Webern who wrote well, they probably all wrote a fugue every morning because that was their training.
And they had nothing else to do.
I remember that Webern definitely did, and so I don't know. Is it some kind of a chorale tune? I think it's Webern, and I think it's a chorale tune. I'm probably completely wrong.
I'm like, when you said it might surprise you, because I think Schoenberg wrote some stuff that was not atonal.
That's true. That's true.
And I'm like, I don't know. And I purposefully avoided Wagner, as much as I could. So I'm just gonna go with A on sheer just, and then the tune is Lo How a Rose for Blooming.
Oh my God, how did I not get that? I couldn't figure out where it started. That was my problem.
Yeah, he's not explicit here. If I started at the very beginning, you would have known. Yeah.
Right. Oh, well,
Leighann, any thoughts?
I don't think it's Wagner. I don't really know a lot of music. I've seen the Ring Cycle, or maybe I'm not part of it. I'm gonna go with Webern.
All right, so we got two Weberns and a Schoenberg, and it was in fact Schoenberg. And it was the song is called Weihnachtsmusik, hard K, which is Christmas music by the Taverner Consort. I was completely blown away by this because it's actually really beautiful, and like there's accordions in the middle of it. Like it's crazy, but it's gorgeous. I promised myself I would never listen to Schoenberg ever again, but
Schoenberg is a romantic. And did you know that John Cage studied with Schoenberg?
Oh.
He studied with him, and because Schoenberg felt that everybody needed to learn counterpoint, and so I don't think John Cage was a big counterpoint student. Like I don't know if he really embraced it, but I know he had a student, Christian Wolff, who he made study counterpoint, but then I don't think they could really concentrate it on it very much, and then they just went off mushroom hunting and discuss what they're gonna make for dinner.
Awesome. Well, anyway, this is the Taverner Consort, and with Andrew Parrott, and of course my cat doppelganger would be a cat dressed as a parrot. So yes, I know this was actually not hard to find. So perfect. All right, so now for our second tune. This is super obscure. We have the lady, we have the master, and we have the reverend. Who do you think wrote this piece? That's your clip. It all basically sounds the same, so. Any thoughts on this one? I was really surprised to find this.
This is obscure.
Yes.
Leave it to Thomas.
Thanks.
I mean, if there's anybody out there in YouTube land, just a quick hello to Chris Quapis, Marsha Bell, whoever else may be tuning in. I literally have no idea on this.
Oh yeah, we should be sure to give everybody Chris's credit card information. I told her we've been doing that regularly, so.
Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah. Merry Christmas. That's a great. Yeah. That's a good gift.
All right, enough delaying. Who do y'all think it is?
I'm gonna just stick with B. B's are what I know.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with B. It just sounds like it. I don't know.
Yeah, I was either going to go with B or C because I know after doing a lot of research in carols and stuff, I feel like a master or a reverend might write something like this.
Right.
Because
Well,
I
too-
think the lady, I think, would be more interesting than that.
I might with B or C. I don't know.
Well, I made up two of them based off of one of them is a jam. Another name for jam. I forget what the other one is, but it was in fact B, the Wakefield master. And this is really fascinating. This is from the play of Herod, which was a medieval play. This is the section called the slaying of the infants, specifically the massacre. So you heard Herod, and then you heard the infants, then of course singing afterwards. And it was by New York Pro Musica.
Wow.
And here was one page I was able to find out of that, just because I thought it was pretty interesting. But who knew, the play of Herod?
That is amazing. It's amazing that it's the New York Pro Musica, but then I guess it's not amazing. You know, just the way the singing and the squareness. I wouldn't have expected them to be so like metered in their performance.
Yeah, I don't know much about how they did the specific recording. It actually took I spent most of my time just trying to make sure who did it. Because I found so many just like, here is this thing, and nobody was actually saying who did it. And of course it was the Wakefield master, so who wrote several pieces in this manuscript that is kind of a collection of these medieval pieces. So pretty interesting. And with that, of course, we have to have a medieval cat from a manuscript. And if this was my cat,
Nice.
which is a very common sight in my house, the other common sight is when I look at him and say, "What are you doing?" And then, of course, he feels embarrassed and then looks at me. So both are usual sights of my house. So, all right, not bad, y'all. Not bad, y'all. So now let's wrap it up with Brandi.
Yes, exactly. All right, so we've got, mine is just two possible answers here. It's called Bach or Beethoven. This is our BBE man. So this is the Bach side. This is his Beethoven side. You have two choices, Bach or Beethoven, with each of these questions, which are worded in such a way as to not give away any time periods or anything as much as possible that might give it away to one guy or the other. So here we are. First question. And I'm not going to attempt to pronounce this, by the way. I'm just going to say the English name. Which composer wrote the cantata Calm Sea and Prosperous Voyage, which was performed on Christmas Day? Was it Bach? Or was it Beethoven?
I'm very disappointed, Brandi. I really wanted to hear you say the word fact.
No, glücklich fahrt.
Can you tell that Thomas is broadcasting from his bathroom?
But I won't put any jokes there. We're just gonna leave it with you, Chris. It's all good.
Prosperous party did the bar. Bach or Beethoven? Here we go.
Oh, jeez, I have no idea. You know, glücklich fahrt. That's what, you know, again, I just sort of focus on the like the scatology of the name, kinds of things that it sounds like to me. But I will guess, I'm an ignoramus, I will guess Bach.
Right. Yeah, Thomas?
I mean, I'm gonna go with Bach too, and the reason why partly because just he wrote so many cantatas, but also like the part where it says "calm sea and prosperous voyage." I mean, I know cantatas have various themes, but that just seems like a very romantic sort of title. It was always about nature kind of thing. So that's my reasoning. We'll see what happens.
I'm gonna go with Beethoven, only because I don't think and Bach would have written. I feel like his cantata names would have been a little more not this. I guess my rationale.
Well, and you are in fact right, Leighann. It is based in the whole romantic and nature thing. Yes, yeah, very cool.
Bach didn't write about parts.
That's all we heard. That's all we heard. Prosperous. Anyway.
Which composer wrote an instrumental piece that was nicknamed the harp? I left out the genre because I felt like that would totally give it away. But was it Bach or was it Beethoven?
Oh my gosh, I should know this, and I don't. I absolutely don't know. Beethoven.
And Thomas?
I have no idea. I'm gonna go with Beethoven.
I really want to say Beethoven too.
It's because Bach didn't use the. I mean, if he used the harp, nobody knows about it. Lots of harpists play his pieces, but the harp was like more circulation as an early pedal harp during Beethoven's time. So that's why I think that's probably why we all said Beethoven.
Yeah, and you would be right. Clean sweep for Beethoven. It's actually one of his string quartets, nicknamed because of a movement in there where the strings are staccato-y.
Oh wow, that's so cool! I want to know which one that is.
Yeah, definitely. I think Opus 79, number whatever. There's so many. So.
79. I graduated high school in 79. I can remember that. I am. You were all not born.
Like Beethoven string quartet, the harp, it'll come right up.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you can an answer, right? What you said, Thomas, is just a Google away.
Yes, that is true. But we didn't have to. So that's good.
It's just a Google away.
Right. And then last but not least, which composer wrote a canon based on Martin Luther's Christmas hymn, Vom Himmel ach der Korn? Was it Bach or Beethoven?
That was pretty good, Brandi. That wasn't half bad. Good for you.
Pretty good for a Texan. All right. Was it Bach or Beethoven?
Oh, I think it was Bach.
Yeah, Bach.
Definitely clean sweep for Bach, and it was in fact Mr. Bach.
Martin Luther. Martin Luther. Yep.
Martin Luther.
Yes. Excellent. Well, now we have come to the point in the show where we ask you all of your family secrets and all of John Cage's family secrets, since we live in the John Cage house.
Which most people probably don't know that. That's really cool.
Yeah.
And so, you know, actually, let's start off with that. Like, how did that come to be a thing? I'm really curious myself. You know?
How did I become
in the John Cage house?
How did I get in the John Cage house? Well, a member of the New York Pro Musica, actually, Leighann Davenport, who was probably on those recordings, and his wife Sheila Schoenberg taught at Sarah Lawrence College back in the days in the Bronx, and my ex Grant Herod studied with them, and they lived across the square from me in this other house. So there were more than just a couple of Pro Musica people living in this community, which was begun by a bunch of avant-garde artists, one of which was John Cage, and another one was David Tudor, who worked with John Cage and Merce Cunningham. Stanley Vanderbeek, who it was his film. He was a filmmaker, and Terry Gilliam of Monty Python patterned a lot of his work after him. And then there was a potter, Karen Carnes, and a literary person, MC Richards. They all started this community outside of New York because they wanted to try community, making a community of artists, of people that they were close with. So Grant thought this was a cool place, so he put his name on the list. And one day Lanu called him and said, "Yeah, why don't you move up here?" So then we were together. So that's how I started out here. Now I'm here by myself-y. The co-op is it's been around since the mid '50s, and it has quite a legacy. It's a cool place to live in.
Yeah, before everybody got on, Christa gave us a tour of the rock wall that John Cage built.
The John Cage rock wall. I can do it again if you like.
That's okay. We won't make you take everybody around the house.
This room that I'm in now actually used to be. It used to be a. There's all my lights and everything. Right there in the middle of the floor was a fire pit. The whole middle of the floor was a fire pit, and up. Let's see. I can't really see it. And there was a hood up above it, and so I mean that's how sort of crazy, kooky, avant-garde these guys were. They devoted a whole room to a fire pit where they just come and sit around it, and of course, like after a while, Cage I think covered it over because like you could only walk around the edges of it, and it was one of 2 rooms in the house. So, they were very. It was very much like a roof over your head while you either smoked pot or just like through the I Ching. These places were very non-typical, not like almost not serious homes. They were like the artwork of Paul Williams, who was one of the other members of the community, who was the architect. So this was his canvas, and we all lived in his artworks, but they didn't really make sense always as proper dwellings, and they still don't, but they're fun. It's like living in a matchbox in the woods.
Yes, I could see the woods out of your window, which is really neat, really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you look carefully, yes. We're all like, I think I'll be able to see it more if I lean in a little closer.
Well, I was, because I've been thinking, I was like, well, you made it much more functional, obviously, and we probably want to talk about all your harps, but I was looking in the back up on your bookshelf, and I was like, is that a kitara, or what is that up there? Because it looks like a Greek.
No, it's 2 harps.
Okay. Gotcha.
Let's see. This one over here is broken, and this one over here, I can't. It's opposite with my finger. The other one is just. It's more of a, a decoration harp than anything else. So there it is.
Have a few of those. Very good.
Well, I know you have a rehearsal coming up, actually involving Christmas music. It's like
yes.
Music of 3 cultures, which I'm really interested to hear more about. You want to chat a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, so they're going to do this is Christine Gavert, who runs a group called Crescendo, and she's in Lakeville, Connecticut, which is, it's near the Berkshires. It's just a beautiful place in the part of Connecticut that's like, the early settlers, Puritans, Sharon is very nearby, and so it's very picturesque. And she is she's had this group for years. She's a really wonderful organist and keyboardist, and she always does really interesting projects, and she has a wonderful choir there that's part of the church that she is, the church that she is the organist. I'm going to have a dangling participle. I can't get out of it. And she's an organist at. Anyway, so, not to be laid low like you guys and so many other exemplary people in our field, by the pandemic, she's got her season up and running starting on December 19th with virtually online with this Christmas music of three cultures, and they're going to do a bit of J.S. Bach's Christmas oratorio. They're going to do some Latin American music, these villancicos, which are, really festive. They're sort of a minestrone of cultures and musical forms, and they're fun, and they usually use colorful instruments. And in Spain, they always brought in all the wild instruments, the psalms and the harps and the guitars, and they danced even in church, with these things. And these are from Latin America. And then they're going to do some American gospel music, which is going to be very wonderful. She's very excited about that. So I'm just playing a little bit on the villancicos because the harp was a big thing now. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that, and I'm proud of her, and I'm proud of you guys for just surviving in such a totally fun way. I just think this is so adorable and cute what you're doing.
I'm sorry, everybody who knows Christa will appreciate how she just said it's like the minestrone of music, and then continues to carry on like that wasn't even a thing.
Minestrone.
Who says that? Christa. Christa says it. It's really.
Well, that's so true. Have so many different things to offer. The texture, it's delicious.
Yeah, it's delicious. And there's one for every occasion, or you could call it the mole, if you're using Mexican, culinary nomenclature. Apparently.
Do you have a favorite part of that program? Like, what is it like? Because you've probably done the Bach probably several times. Maybe some of these other things are new. Like, what's kind of the exciting part about the concert for you?
Well, actually, for me, because I was an oboist in college, and so yes, all the early music I ever played was Bach. That was as early as it got, and I just would have lived there for the rest of my life, if I hadn't started to play the harp. But then the harp just doesn't even know Bach. These early harps that I play, like this triple harp. It's a 17th century instrument, and it turns out that in Spain the harp was really important, and so I have the villancicos are the pieces that I've played over and over and over again, and of course I love them. But I would love to whip my oboe out and play a little bit of that Bach, but that's not happening at the moment. So, but it's hard to choose. It's like when people ask me, "What instrument do you like playing the most?" Well, I'm a multi-instrumentalist. And in multi-instrumentalism, which I swear, you could call it a not a disorder, but or a condition, or a
it's a minestrone.
You're playing at the moment, that's the one you love. So I would love the Bach if I was playing it, but I am playing the villancicos. But yeah.
How did you, sorry, I'm jumping here because this is something I've been thinking, when we had this conversation, I was like, how do you get into harp, or how did you get into harp? Because I'm from West Virginia, they cut all string programs. Harp wasn't even an option. How did you find your way into that?
Oh yeah, no, harp was just something that people played that were not in my music program in high school. I had a good music program, but it was very band oriented, and I just never considered the harp for 1 second. Even when I was studying at Eastman, there's a harp hall. You would go down and look in the practice rooms, and there are these women. One of them was a beauty queen. She had been in pageants, and they were all playing their harps, and the harps were gold, and I just didn't compute at all to me. I never in a million years would have said that I would play the harp, given that harp. But then I heard that, but I always loved the guitar, and I heard Andrew Lawrence King playing, one of these. Andrew Lawrence King being one of the revivalists of the early harps and the Baroque harps, and he got his music out. It was very public and very, just widespread, and so he was all the rage with his Spanish recordings. And I heard his harp, and I was like, that sounds like a big guitar. Now, I could do that because the guitar is like the fingerboards. The fretboard I just don't understand. But the harp, I studied piano, when I was a kid. Everything's in a row. Okay, I can do that. And it sounds like a guitar, so that's the solution, And I wanted to play Monteverdi, wanted to play earlier stuff, and the oboe just wouldn't go there. You're either playing the sham, which is earlier than that, or after. So that's so I just started on that road. I found a harp. I borrowed it. I somehow got a Fulbright to study in Italy. Don't ask me how. It's because the Italians are just awesome, and they let me come. And then on from there. And also, I saw that there was a dearth of these chromatic harps being played in America, and I wanted to think in terms of accompaniment because I like that as well. So off I went.
Yeah, maybe you and Brandi can talk about Monteverdi because you both are like in love.
Yeah,
Let's talk about Monteverdi. Don't you love him? I do.
I just love him so much. Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, I am about to do this project that's kind of hilarious. Rutgers is going to do Orfeo remotely. Okay, so think about that. So the only way that we could think of and then we're going to like somehow record the band, and then the singers are going to sing with us. And so the only way that you can make sure everyone's timing is the same with all these recitative parts of it is if I sit and play and sing the entire opera and record it and send it to the singers, and then they have to sing along. Which I'm sorry about that. Stop laughing, Tom. I mean, I can sing a whole thing. It's not something you'd want to really like cozy up to with a glass of wine, but
I'm not laughing at your singing. I'm laughing at what a nightmare that it probably is to put together.
Rosa del cielo, vita del mondo, and on like that. So that's what I'll be doing this week. But it's great fun. I mean, what could be more fun than sitting in my room playing and singing Orfeo from start to finish?
Yeah, I mean that brings up a good point too of like, because as we were doing this carols project, with you involved, and it was like you would layer whatever, and here's handing off to you, here's the check, and then you lay your
Right.
put on, and I mean, it is. There's so many things that come up because then it's like, well, you can't sit and dissect every single thing. You kind of have to like, okay, I have to trust that we can talk about some stuff, or like do, like a reference recording, like you're doing like a practice recording for,
Right.
And that was actually what, I did also for our cello player, like, here's like, and you just have to do, and kind of like there's just not that talking, and like maybe we do this instead, or maybe you just have to go with it and be cool,
Right.
and do that was actually something Sarah Stone, we had her on. She's been recording Bach chorales like every single day, and there's just like a point where you're just like, okay, I think that was good, and there's that law of diminishing returns, and I'm cool with that. Like, next layer, please, and yeah, it just brings a lot of just quite like a few more questions, or you just have to think about things a little differently, and yeah, and what really is the most fundamental part, or like how does it work best, as far as like this carol works best if I layer this person first and the next and the next. Just that idea of stacking just wasn't as much of a thing.
Yeah, I know. You're making something that's like when I recorded for this for these villancicos for Christine. Everybody just recorded their continual part, and then she would stack them. But that meant that I had to actually hear myself playing alone, like the continual part, which usually, you just are playing with your friends. They get some notes, you get some notes. You just, you work it out. You create this thing together. And I'm sitting there listening to myself, going, "How have I had a career?" So, let's playing like this. Like, here's some of it, and there's some of it's not really there, and so there's some more. I'm like, oh my God, true confession. So, but it's just really, it's been an amazing journey doing it this way, because you're creating a document. Summer workshops, you probably all know, it's like you're online workshops for Madison, or for me for the Somerset Harp Festival. Oh my God, I can't just sit in the room and go, "How's everybody doing? You got your finger? Okay, okay, good. I'm going, moving on." No, it's like thumb goes here, and then this, and then A, B, and then here we go. 1, 2. It's just all. There can't be any holes in anything. It's all got to be there, because it becomes a document of sorts.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it, for sure.
It's massive. It's become. But it's fun. I don't know. It's fun. We get to play. I mean, what could be better than playing Bach chorales every day? Really.
Yeah. But it is interesting because, like, you can theoretically, because you mentioned like there are holes, and like in a live performance, something you can't go and fix that. But here you have the option of doing that, and at the same time, you can also just be like, you know what? I'm just gonna let it go, because knowing that when it goes into the full production, either no one's going to catch that, or maybe it really wasn't that big of a deal, or like it's now interesting, the other options that we have when we're kind of putting these things together, whether we kind of go more towards that I'm going to make everything perfect, or what, it's okay, it's fine.
It's fine. I mean, I should have your, attitude, but I just feel like being a harpist, and if somebody's the keyboardist, they're not going to necessarily hear every note you play until you send your recording of yourself, and then it's all out there. It's like, oh my God, why did I ever hire her? She's playing everything, So it's like, no, every note's going to be there. It's a document. You want to make sure.
Yeah. Well, it sounds great. We're thrilled that you could join us for the carols, for sure. So
they were so sweet, and I loved the, was it Adeste Fidelis, that little, triple version of it. It's so charming. It's got the little dum 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 dum. Love that part.
It is.
And the flute and violin, they sound gorgeous together. And Thomas, I guess you're breathing, right, in these?
I haven't done my recording, but I will breathe, because that's an important part of what I do. Hopefully.
No, it sounds gorgeous. I'd love to hear you guys in real time, and hear what you do, because.
Well, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, right? We got the Pfizer vaccine approved and coming. The Moderna is supposed to be approved and coming. We just have about 6-ish months, sort of.
That's all. There's a tiny. I mean, there's more than just a glimmer of light, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we might be back at it, by the fall, maybe.
Are you starting to pick up like live things now for like later next year? Is anybody contacting you about that, or?
I actually got a gig, like somebody, I don't know if you've heard of the group. I was going to mention this because it's another thing. The Three Notched Road.
Yeah.
They wrote me, like, I don't know, before Thanksgiving, and said, "Would you come down to Virginia and play a gig with us in February?" And I had to read it a bunch of times. I was like, really? Like, get in my car and go there. Okay. So that happened. Yeah, other than that, no, just maybe the odd church gig.
Mm-hmm.
Are you singing in churches, like, at all, Thomas? Or did you do that? Oh, maybe you don't.
Well, since I moved to Chicago in 2009, I've had a cathedral position. And what's kind of funny is so I conduct some of the choirs at the cathedral, and I usually have I conduct the orchestras too, but none of that's happening this year. I'm not going in to sing for, a lot of reasons. And actually most of the time when I'm at the cathedral now, I'm playing saxophone, which is kind of interesting. Right, but it's in Chicago, like the archdiocese now has a thing, like they're allowing 3 singers per church or cathedral, all cantors. There can't be a quartet or anything more. They've banned like trumpets and wind instruments, but you can have like strings and you can have organ. It's they're being very cautious about it, and I think that that's really great, and I think that's what's needed. But yeah, this is the first Christmas I'm not doing anything, so.
I know. Just my house. It's December. It's just another month.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you have Christmas plans? Like, what are you doing?
Me?
Yeah, are you playing anything? You should do a virtual harp concert from your
I know I
carols
should.
book.
I know I should. Actually, I was thinking of doing a little, music at the Cage House. It's fun to sit in front of these windows and play. Like I did a little concert with my friend Peter Walker for Midtown Concerts. Maybe you saw it, where we sat in front of the window walls. And it's fun, and it's so great to just pick up the harp and walk into the next room and play it there. My family wants to get together actually in North Carolina, and so I'm supposed to drive my 88-year-old father, down to the coast in North Carolina and have Christmas there. So I'm grappling with the idea of that, and but if I weren't doing that, I would totally. And if I weren't recording all of Orfeo in the next week, in my, I would create a little Christmas concert. Yeah,
Awesome. Cool. All right, well, it's 12:55. Do we have any last minute questions before we sign off with our Carol of the Week?
Ooh.
Actually, where can people tune in to hear your 3 cultures of Christmas music?
I think that Crescendo had the best place to find that information when it becomes available is on their Facebook page. So you just search Crescendo, and you'll go to the Facebook page, and it has all their different. It has the announcement of their online series,
Excellent.
things like that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. That sounds super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shall we go to the Chicago themed carol?
Yeah, and we'll end it there. Christa, thanks so much for joining us. It has been way too long, and unfortunately, we're stuck in COVID and couldn't see you live. But it's nice to have you and to get to see you.
It's so great to see your faces and to meet Leighann, to meet you. Fabulous. I had a blank there earlier on. Sorry about that. Your last name really sticks in my head, Ragusa, because I just find that a fascinating name. Like where
Well, it's a town in Italy.
What's that?
Town in Italy. No.
I didn't hear it quite.
Oh, it's a town in Italy.
Yeah, it's Italian, right? I that's what I think. Isn't it like could it be like Jewish Italian or something like that? No, there's a Ragon is one like that. But anyway, I was fascinated by your last name, so I just was going to say, and nice to meet you, Ragusa. And then I blanked.
We're like a ball team over here. We refer to each other by our last names. Ragusa, Patton.
1,000 pardons.
Awesome. Well, fantastic. Thank you again so much, Christa. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We're gonna head out. We're gonna go. Last thing we'll hear is our rendition of "Deck the Halls," which has me in my sort of boy voice, so that'll be kind of interesting. And this is Chicago/COVID themed. So hopefully everybody enjoys that one. Stay safe, and we'll be back next week, and hopefully with Christa again sometime in the future.
Hope so.
Snow and ice on streets and sidewalks, la 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 la. Parking dibs with an Amazon box, la 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 la. Michigan Ave strung up with lights, fa la 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 la. Karens and managers in TikTok fights, fa la 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 la. Double, double, toil and trouble, fa la 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 la, la 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 la. I've been stuck inside this bubble, fa la 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 la, la 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 la. Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, fa la 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 la. What holiday celebration is this? Fa la 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 la. Happy Festivus to you. Fa la 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 la. Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa too. Fa la 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 la. If you like our streaming spree, la 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 la. Please subscribe to the BBE. La 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 la.